Why don't we celebrate Christmas, Mom? With holidays around the corner, those are probably some of the questions that are rising in your home and wondering, how do I answer these questions? Well, in today's video, I'm going to give you some practical advice for the everyday Muslim mom on how to address these questions and some of the ways you might want to think about as well. So let's get started. When a question such as this, why don't we celebrate Christmas, Mom, arises in your home, there's definitely a couple of things to consider as a Muslim mom. And trust me, I know, as a mother of two, I completely understand where that puts you in what place, and sometimes you get a little confused on how to answer that question. With my experience, there's a few things to keep in mind. Number one, did I properly educate my children about the Islamic holidays? We have two major holidays, Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. What I do on my part is always inform them about the Eid, always educate them about why we do what we do. What's the point of our celebrations? Because everything in Islam has a meaning. Everything in Islam has a purpose. Number two, always make it as exciting and as festive around our Muslim holidays in the same way that they would see it in the non-Muslim holidays. That way, when they're a part of the Islamic holidays and in the moment of celebration, it's just as exciting and it feeds their internal desire to be around something fun and exciting. The third thing that I would keep in mind that really drew my attention later on as I kind of went through the process of educating the youth of various ages and being a mom was making sure you address to your Muslim kids that it's okay to fit out. Many times as parents, we feel guilty why our children are not a part of certain activities or certain holidays. This is an excellent life skill opportunity to teach your children to not only be confident and content with who they are and their identities as Muslims, but also understanding that regardless of where you're at in life, you won't always fit in, and that's just the reality. So building their self-confidence, knowing that I won't always fit in, is okay. That's actually really important instead of feeding into that emotion of your child feeling left out. Because we know for a fact, even those who are the wealthiest in our industry, they are in accordance to the top 5 or 6 friends they hang around with. And that's literally what Prophet Muhammad stated 1400 years ago. Al-mar'u ala dini khalileh. You are in accordance to the top friends that you are around. So this is an excellent life skill to incorporate when your child comes home feeling left out in any shape or form. Because if it's not in their best interest, whether in ethics, in mannerism, in behavior, in being upright and moral, in all honesty, you should refrain and stay away from it. So this is a fantastic life lesson that you should incorporate and think about when you're engaging with your children and they're asking questions such as why we're not a part of this or why we're not a part of that. The fourth thing I would keep in mind as a parent, try to incorporate surahs, ayat from the Quran or a hadith that will wrap around understanding why we don't celebrate certain things with others. For an example, Surah alKahf, chapter 109, verse 1 through 6. Here's a quick explanation in the way I've approached my students and my children as well, in hopes to kind of give you some ideas on how to approach it as well. I would begin with my students or my children by explaining when this surah was revealed. So when Prophet Muhammad was residing or living in Mecca, Angel Gabriel revealed this surah or revealed this chapter when specific situations arise. So what was the specific situation that arose in which Angel Jibril was commanded by Allah to actually reveal the surah, to reveal this chapter to Prophet Muhammad? The story goes is some of the non-believers approached Prophet Muhammad with an agreement. The agreement clearly stated that if we worship Allah one day, that the Muslims would worship the idols another day. That was the agreement. Now, when that agreement was put forth in front of Prophet Muhammad, it is in that moment when Angel Gabriel was commanded by God to reveal this specific chapter, Surah alKahf. And in the specific surah or in this chapter, Allah clearly rejects the agreement and clearly states that there is zero compromises within Islam. We do not compromise our faith in any shape, form, or fashion. And the second element to this chapter that is super unique is there is zero compulsion in faith. So one, we do not compromise our faith. And number two is there is no compulsion in faith. I mean, is there anything more balanced than that? No compromise, no compulsion. So let's bring this story full circle. That was literally the response of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the non-believers 1400 years ago, that we will not compromise our Islam. However, there is no compulsion, that we will not force you to be Muslim. Now, something amazing and fascinating about this story is it still holds true till today. We do not compromise our Islam. However, we do not force anyone to be Muslim. So as a Muslim mom, you seriously need to ask yourself, am I compromising the deen in the eyes of my children? Am I compromising any sort of values or faith practices that don't coincide with Islam, that don't coincide with Prophet Muhammad in the eyes of my children? Because I'll be honest with you, as a parent and a former educator, children will not do what you say. They will do what you do. So lead by example, as we know for a fact that the majority of this deen was led through example. That concludes the video for the day. It was an honest, transparent conversations about some of the questions that arise within my Muslim home, as well as with my students as a former educator in the past. Simple guide on how to answer these questions, or some of the things that you might want to think about that you probably didn't think about before. So with that being said, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, I would love to hear more about your comments, more about your thoughts about this topic, or maybe other topics that you may have in mind, so I can make more content that adds more tremendous value in your life. Till next time, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.